Happy birthday, Richard Millhouse Nixon. Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E. Nation for another presidential birthday toast. Today, we raise our glass to the 37th president of these United States, Richard Nixon. Now, one of the more controversial presidents. There's a lot that you can measure. There's some objective goods. He did open up trade relations with China. He did sign into law Title IX, which did usher in the era of no more discrimination based on sex. Those are objective goods. Then you also have to weigh Watergate and many of the other things that came about with that. You cannot really mention Richard Nixon without mentioning Watergate now. And then there's the one in the middle, which, depending on the economic school of thought you subscribe to, is either a good or a bad, when Richard Nixon took us off of the gold standard. So depending on really which way you come down on that, that was either one of the better things or one of the worst things he did. But today we are here to raise a glass to this man on his birthday, the man who became the 37th president of these United States. He was born a modest man, but I figured for this particular review, it would be very fitting for me to pull a Nixon. I've got this bottle of lovely Duckhorn Cabernet Sauvignon that I am aging, and I will continue to age for some time. Richard Nixon was known for, when he would have guests over, he would keep some of the good stuff for himself, and he would have his aides wrap a towel around the bottle of wine so they couldn't see the label as to what was being poured. Now this is a K.O.E. Nation favorite, Millhouse Dornfelder, a great red grape. But Richard Nixon was known to save the good stuff for himself at a party and pour lesser wines for everybody else. And that is to this day known as pulling a Nixon. And so I thought that was actually quite fun. I thought that was actually kind of funny. And I figured what better time to do it? Open up one of my favorite types of red wines, Millhouse Dornfelder from the Rhine valleys of Germany. Inexpensive stuff, but marvelous stuff. Smells marvelous. We will get into that in a moment. But Richard Millhouse Nixon, also, funny enough, one time drank a very, very high-proof Chinese sorghum-based distillate called, it's either Maitao or Baijiu, depending on which region and which one you're encountering. But regardless, they're distilled from sorghum, so any kind of Milo or grains like that. And apparently it's really hot. Like, American reporters have said that it's like chewing on razor blades. And Richard Nixon, famously, it's an alcohol that's so high in content you can actually light it on fire. And when Richard Nixon tried to do this to show his daughter in the White House kitchen, cracked the pan and the plate that it was on, and caused the fire to spread. And so Henry Kissinger actually joked at the premier of China at the time that you nearly burned down the White House with your particular sorghum distillate. So that's one of many stories involving alcohol that Richard Nixon is associated with. And also, he used one bottle of Courvoisier for Courvoisier cognac brandy, for those who don't know, for two very interesting toasts, one great and one somber. The same bottle of cognac was used for the toast of, we have now open relations with China, when Richard Nixon and Henry Kissinger, like, hey, we have open relations with China. This is an amazing thing. So they toasted with some cognac. And then they used the same bottle to toast when they decided that it was time for Richard Nixon to resign. So that was quite the moment. Yes, he was the only president in our history to resign. And it's famous, fairly well known, and I can only imagine, if you're somebody in the audience that actually lived through that, I can only imagine what that would be like, where the leader of the free world just resigns and then leaves. Like, so that was quite a surreal time, I imagine. But regardless, he was a president of these United States. He was the 37th president of these United States. And so because of all of that, we raise our glass in toast to President Richard Millhouse Nixon, President of these United States. Happy birthday, Mr. President. So folks, please join me as we go further into this presidential toast series, and we toast every single U.S. president on their birthday. The next one coming up is President McKinley, who loved him some rye whiskey. So if you want to join me on the 27th, I believe that is correct, the 27th for our toast to President McKinley, be sure to join me. But today is Richard Nixon's day. So, Mr. President, for all your virtues, for all your flaws, you are still the leader of this free world. And for that, we raise our glass to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. So, folks, be sure to stay tuned right here for even more. And be sure to stay tuned right here for the Presidential Toast Series. I am Phil K.O.E., and I'll catch you next time.